Gotta pause it. If you want to hear me not pause good music, please check out the sound demos, now available only to patrons and subscribers. So if you support this channel, you get all the benefits. I'll go over more benefits at the end of the video, because why wouldn't I tell you all those? Anyway, these lovely things are currently sitting on bookart stands. Don't admire the stands too much. They're nearly as much as the speakers. Those stands are like $500. And these triangle Borea BR02BTs for Bluetooth settle in about $700. And that's a lot of money. But, or not buts. Why is the music up? I just have giant scenery. I need to put the music up over the scenery. But the thing is, they sound... That's Mozart. Mozart. It's not Mozart. Everyone says Mozart, but there's no T. It's just Mozart. Yeah, so if you don't know, give you a real quick history of the Triangle brand. They're French. Don't hold that against them. They actually own a winery. When I did the review a long time ago, they sent me 2 bottles of wine from their vineyard as a thank you. And the guy that I've been dealing with hasn't sent me anything in a while. We had the Borea BR09 towers. I love those things. Those are like the big. Those are like. Are they still the best tower? Like straight up. Like I need a tower that's. What's the best one? The most balanced and even. Borea. Triangle. Triangle makes exceptionally well-made. I'm gonna say a word. Musically. Musical speakers. Fuck, I said it. This channel has become a lot of like DSP corrected things. We've got these cute little things. They're all self-powered. I fell in love with the IN5s over there. Oh, babies. Put them on a tube and they get even like more well-rounded. So these are in that same category. But they're triangle. So you got to grasp the concept of speaker makers that start from a completely digital perspective. They have one way of looking at things. Triangle's been making speakers for fucking ever. As passive, normal triangle. In fact, if you bought 2 of these, 2 sets, you'd get 2 passive speakers. And you could just run them. And it would be fucking glorious, because that's what Triangle usually sells. Now that they're making a powered, capable, remote-controlled not studio monitor, but like monitor. It makes me question why other brands that are popular for speakers aren't just making self-powered ones, because I feel like this is the new market. I didn't think it was gonna be. Like, I've got these racks here. I don't pull them out often because how many passive speakers have I reviewed lately? I got this. Look at the dust on this vintage Marantz monoblock, which one you the 700, and then I got these Tuxedos devices, fucking 8 watt per channel or 12 watt per channel tube amps. They just sit here, literally collecting dust. Because I haven't had to pull an amplifier out to power speakers. In fact, the only time I do pull out passive speakers is to test an amplifier. But there's no new speakers coming out that are passives that are here, except when I eventually, here's another thing. Usually with these Triangle reviews, I link to some dealer that is like, you have to call them and schedule an appointment, and they're in San Francisco. Mimic Audio now carries the entire, well, a lot of the Triangle line. And they do that because I asked them to. Like, please, God, I need a retailer who actually has, like, a return policy and can stock things and can send them out. So if you've not heard of Mimic Audio, my affiliate link for Mimic Audio in the description. Same with everything. They're all affiliate links to everywhere. So I don't think I'm biased because of that. But it's nice to finally be able to recommend a Triangle speaker and actually maybe pay some bills with that option. So let's shift off of Mozart. Crouch down nice and close to this oak and green speaker. I haven't talked about speakers being boring for a while, Speakers are kind of boring. As much as those are exciting, they're kind of boring. Black, boring. White drivers, fine, but where's the color? And here it is. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to pause that now and stare into the floor. Okay, I'm over it. Costco will be fine. These are actually beautiful speakers. And granted, is that a scuff on you? Okay, no. No, it's just dust. It's just dust. They actually come with different options. Look, wait. Grab the mouse and keyboard, everybody. We're going for a trip to the browser. You get 5 different color schemes. This one is oak green. There's light oak blue. Look at that. That's handsome as shit. There's cream, which is not white. Because white speakers are a thing. I like white speakers. There's white speakers that I actually don't like that much. But there's white speakers. There's white speakers. I was even considering painting a set of my JBLs, one of the towers, probably the smaller one, just to save paint. Just to give it like, oh, I'll make it white or something. But you know what? Why not cream, where it's just slightly off-white? Because white gets dirty. Then there's the light oak, which is actually a pattern we've seen before from Triangle. And then black. If you're boring, you're boring. I actually would, if I had to pick one, you know what? That light oak blue, I feel like if I owned a yacht, that's what it would be in like every room. And then if I had a study with like books on a bookshelf and I could read, oak green, these. I'm gonna take the covers off them because I think it doesn't, but the thing is that the covers don't. We're gonna talk about 2 things right now. Only 2. Forget the price is fixed. What's the price again? Double checking it. Yeah, $700. Great, good. The price is fixed. The only 2 things you should be concerned about, because availability is going to be there, is sound quality and looks. That's it. And some of you purists might be like, oh, Zeos, looks don't matter. Fuck you, you're lying to yourself. You are absolutely 100% false, my friend. Because I have been to some audio shows, like walked from room to room, and allow me to get down on my knees and pray. I've been to some audio shows. No, the wire fell. And I've walked into rooms that sounded pretty decent, but the speakers looked like a homeless man had tatted them together with duct tape and banana peels. And I was like, you know what? I ain't buying it. Literally ain't buying it, because they're like $5,000. What? Are you high? And then I walk into other rooms where the speakers are gorgeous. You could tell the wood was taken from some African reserve where the children all died because they went and got this wood. And you could see the quality of it from the wood, from the death wood. But they sounded boring and static. And it's like, oh, God, very pretty. So I don't care how good a speaker sounds. I don't care how good a speaker looks. You need some sort of balance between the 2, or you're not interesting me. All right? Ohm Walshes are not really that pretty. They look like a 1970s cigarette ashtray. If you don't know what the Ohm Walshes are, check out my channel. Go whack. It's like the second best speaker I ever heard. And it's still in use right now in my bedroom. I pointed over there because it's actually upstairs in my bedroom. The Ohm Walsh 2000s. Are they the prettiest speaker? No. They're different and they're stately and they work phenomenally. But they're not the prettiest things. Up there and coming up in a soon review, I've got another set of speakers I bought. I know, weird, isn't it? The Broadman FS. You look those up. Those look phenomenal. How do they sound? Well, actually, turns out they sound phenomenal too, but I knew that's why I bought them. But these triangles, let's get off of speakers that are not in the room and walk over to these. These look the part of a $700 speaker. This is a rubberized surround here and here to keep the vibrations or the sound waves that come out. And then these lines here, those are actually the trap things. In fact, there's a divot around the entire fascia to try to roll things off. You know why? Because Triangle knows how to make fucking speakers. Because they're not just going to DSP correct to fix anything. That tweeter's been developed. That's the same tweeter they've been using, and they just keep hacking at it and hacking at it and hacking at it and building real physical crossovers. And then they just feed across a single set well, this is not the wire it comes with. I'll show you the wire it comes with. Hold on. See, I have felt on the bottom of my keyboard so I can put it down on top of things and hurt things. It's not the greatest speaker on earth for $700. They could definitely make some improvements. For example, this. This is the wire it comes with to go from the left to the right speaker. We'll look at the back of the right speaker because the right speaker is a powered speaker and you can't reverse that because, again, limitations. I got so used to things like the Canto Tox and the Vanitus that you could actually, like, change shit. That anyway, the fact that it only has 2 wires going from left to right means that there's still a physical crossover with components and diminishing fucking powers. So it's not the most advanced tech. Like even these little fucking OS 10s have a 4-wire pin that goes from the left to the right because it's powering individually the tweeter and the woofer. But Triangle, honestly, I feel like that would just confuse them. They're old school. They're the oldest of old school speaker manufacturers. This whole remote controls thing is new to them. The fact that they give you stripped tinned wire in white to try to hide, like, there's only 2 ways I think that they did this. One, because they literally think this is enough, and it shouldn't be, because it has banana plugs, and it should take banana plugs. I have a mica cable on here. Or 2, they know if you're spending $700 on a pair of their speakers, you're not going to use some peasant wire that came in the box. You're going to go out and spend $30 on a pair of mica cables and throw one in the trash because you'll need one. This is one 12-footer going around. That's a passive speaker. This only has that in. Hold on, wait, one more. No. Wally. Let's pick this one up. How's my lighting? Good? Good. I'm gonna pick you up like a baby. Actually, gonna keep the foam on there. Spin you right round. We have got our power input, by the way, monoprice hospital cable. Hospital specifically because it's clear and you can see if it's searing, and that's why you could use it in an oxygen-rich environment. In case you didn't know why it's called a hospital cable, that's why. It's very nicely made. Here's your output. It says specifically to left out. Got a problem with that. We'll talk about when I put this down and I'm not holding it like a baby. One knob, which is your input select, digital push in, and then volume knob up and down. I think I have it all the way up there maxed out. We'll go down like 1, 2, 3 clicks. A phono/line switch for the RCAs. You can plug a turntable into this. Again, old school cool. You want to plug your turntable, your hipster turntable into this. This will act as a preamp. Here's your ground for that reason. You get a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary in. So you actually get 2 analog inputs. You just have to use a 3.5 adapter if you want to use that one, or come off your phone. You get a subwoofer out, which we will hook up in a second. I'm currently feeding this with a fiber optic cable coming from that computer over there, actually coming from the Matrix SPDIF X SPDIF 3. So that goes in here, and below that is a coaxial digital input. So you get quite a lot of inputs. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 straight inputs plus Bluetooth. 5 inputs. That's more inputs than your mom. I'm just kidding. I have no idea how many things your mom could actually take at once. I don't want to be rude. The grills, obviously magnets, also have a slight green tinge. I'm not sure if the GoPro is going to pick that up well. Hold on, let me put it where you can see it better. Yeah, no, they're pretty green. I'm going to put these on the side because, although, you know what? Honestly, I might prefer them with it on, and that's not an insult to the speakers. I just feel like we're going for classy. We're going for I'm sipping a Chardonnay while listening to music. Maybe put the grills on. I'm a little bit disappointed in the remote control. Again, Triangle makes speakers. They're not the electronics thing. They were getting better because they did the LN01As, which were also known as the Alaras back in the day. So I've come across several revisions, and this is actually probably, did they change it from the last one? So you've got loudness on, loudness off, bass up, bass down, treble up, treble down, source, BTC for Bluetooth Connect, EQ reset. So if you add bass to it, you can just boom, knock the bass out. You add treble, you can go boom, knock it all out. You get a dimmer. If you hold this down, your indicator light goes off, and any speaker that lets you turn off the fucking LED is a winner in my book. Currently purple. Oh, I gotta hold it again for like 2 hours. Hold on. 1,000, 2,000. Okay, now it's back on. That's the only indicator, by the way, is that little tiny LED, which is currently purple because we're on the SPDIF input. You get to turn them off at night. Honestly, don't get that warm. I wouldn't do it. Volume up, volume down. And then you have track change for the Bluetooth. The end. When you do hit a button, that slightly blinks. It just blinks a little bit. I did have a problem when I muted this. Because let's see if I unpause the music. Where's my remote? Yeah, no, music's playing right now. Why don't I hear anything? The light's purple. Oh. God, these are so big. We're going to get to the sound, too. Some little problems. Like, it doesn't indicate that it's muted. Usually, when you mute something and there's an LED, it will blink to say, I'm muted. I am not currently on. With this, it doesn't. So it took me... I got to explain, because it took me like 15 fucking minutes to be like, why isn't it working? I mean, the light's on. I changed inputs. I checked the wire. We'll go back to the computer. Maybe it's a fucking... Maybe Windows. Because no, it was just muted. Of course, the song changes exactly as I unmute it. Epic score, we can leave this on. Alright. I've been disappointed before with triangle Boreas. In fact, it was right in this room, right in this space, right around here, that I did the original BR02s. They were bigger than this, or were they BR03s? But they were a passive set of speakers, and they ported in the front, and they were very pretty, and they sound like shit. They had no soul, no life, no low end. And I was like, ugh. And to the point where the actual guy who represents Triangle said, hey, let me send you a second pair in case something went wrong. Sends me a second pair. I broke them in. I let them just run down here while I went to the store and lived my life. Same thing. Just unimpressive. And I know it's not the space, because a lot of people will say, well, you put them up at this height and you can't be halfway between the ceiling and the floor because it'll reflect. Meanwhile, this is filled with nice soft insulation, so it's like a barrier, and we've got a lot of diffusion around from just boxes. I don't like them. These are 100 times better than those. I mean, and I could play... Should I take the keyboard off? I'm sure that's bothering some audiophiles. Don't worry, it's got Audiophile felt. Available at the Zeo store for $57 a foot. There's just a... All right, Zeo's timestamp. Sound quality. A good speaker should have not... You should not be able to say the words. If you're just a lay person, and I'm not, I'm an exceptionally laid person, you should lack the words to describe what's happening. You just know it feels good. It's like if I asked you to describe why some ice cream is better than other ice cream, and when you tell everyone to shut the fuck up, it just is. That's what these speakers feel like. Because as soon as you put on any song, and it doesn't have to be this epic score, Don't Forget Us, but there's just like a smoothness to the whole sound. Like an inoffensiveness to it. There's no shrieking highs. By the way, I put the covers back on. I love them with the covers on. I love them with the covers, especially on these boot card stands, which are way too expensive, and someone needs to make knockoff versions of them, because I'm pretty sure they're made in China and just sold to the boot card. But oh my god, the sound is just holographic in nature. We get depth in the sound. You get width, just enough width to go past. But none of these things sound like the speaker is playing. It never feels like a flat plane of like sound is coming out of there. Even with this song, like those violins are just in the background in the middle. Then there's those the cracky sounds coming up. By the way, if you want to hear a sound demo of these, again, available only to the patrons and subscribers. I have the rig. Now that I fixed a leak in my bathroom, that was a whole thing. I can start reviewing speakers and sound demoing them again. I will be sound demoing the OS 10s for those of you who are waiting in line. They're pleasant in a way that only a wood and green French speaker can be. Is that vague? I feel like that's vague. But like if you close your mind and I'm like, sip this tea. You're sipping this tea? Now put a little bit of French liqueur in the tea. I don't know what French liqueur is. I think it's just liqueur made in France. Mine is ginger French liqueur. But whatever. Put in your tea. Sip it. Close your eyes. Imagine this. Imagine you're sitting in front of a speaker. And imagine you just want to keep sitting in front of it. And no matter what plays, no matter what genre of music, it's always nice. Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like it's generating a horn for horns. Like in front of me, right there is not a space. There is a 3D printed horn that's been moved out just to play the horn. And they're doing it without any fancy fucking wave guides, or really, I don't even think they're doing DSP correction. I could test that by hooking that up to a standard amplifier and playing it, but I only have one. Because you can DSP correct even through a 2-wire system. You would just run a digital signal process to correct something before the passive crossover and then have it run to the speaker cones. So it's doable. I do it all the time. If you ever use Dirac or room correction for your speakers and your surround sound, that's correcting things before it gets to your speakers. So they could be doing the exact same thing. I don't think you're grasping. I'm throwing, look at the wallpaper, all right? I don't pick wallpapers randomly. It's always like I need to get people's attention. They got to pay attention to this $700 set of beautiful speakers that, guess what, would work on a desk because I've moved them. Like, people complain that I don't like this is an unrealistic desk scenario. I actually don't have like a desk I would say is like a perfect what everyone has because no one knows what that is. But I've used these real close, like right here close. And they don't get super loud. They get loud enough to like have a party, but they don't like want to blow up, which is a nice feature. These sound, that's RRR, by the way. It's a Hindi movie. Go watch, or a Bollywood movie. Go watch RRR. Trust me, motherfuckers. Put aside 3 hours and 20 minutes and be entertained like you have not been from Hollywood for a long time. I wonder if I'm going to get flagged for that. Like, you hear that like low? Like, this is the Expanse. And it comes in and, we've watched The Expanse. You're all relatively cultured people. You know what a good sci-fi show feels like. It's got that soundtrack that just comes in with that low rumble in the background like you're in space on a ship. There's no subwoofer attached to these. I did break them in. I definitely gave them 20-something hours, and I was doing it with the sub attached. Now I've disconnected the sub, but I'm just like sitting here. And we are flat EQ. EQ preset is, let's bump up the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. You get 7 presses. Okay, that's distorting. You don't want that. Like I said, gentle with the electronics, Eugene. Just one bass. Honestly, they don't need it. I think they're perfect without any EQ. They're just sitting here in the middle of this room, just breathing at me. That's the best explanation I can give you, like of sound. They sound extremely high resolution and extremely alive, like they're breathing towards you. Just imaging is spectacular is the best way I can put that, because it doesn't just sound like sound is coming from the middle. It sounds like it's coming from back there or up here, depending on where it wants to be. That's Tiberian Sun Command and Conquer, the score.
He knows just what you've done. You got no place.
That's Little Shop of Horrors. I just want to sit here and listen to music, which is what I can do on the sound demos available to patrons and subscribers. So let's lower this a bit. Oh, it's another problem. Yeah, the remote control, you can't hold volume down and have it go down. Because when you hit down, oh wait. Was I not pointing at it? Now it's working. I've had it where I've hit the button and like I expect it to go down and it just doesn't blink. It blinks once. So you got to be real directional. Oh, I probably shouldn't be playing that music. All right, so false alarm. Oh God, one less thing to complain about. It's so close to being 100% worth it. For looks, $700, worth it. For sound, $700, worth it. The only concerns I will give you is remote control is plastic. It works. It's better than most SMSL remotes as far as the build quality of it. The layout's got some like bass and treble and loudness. If you hold loudness and loudness comes on, hold on. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Okay, it blinked. Now loudness is on. How do you know loudness is on? I don't fucking know. You can only turn loudness on with one button and off with another. So if you hold it again, let me see what happens if you hold it again. It blinked again. I don't know if that means it's on or off. Is it double on? What loudness should be, by the way. So I'm not 100% sure how they're doing it. Oh, when loudness is on a device, like any surround receiver, that usually means you're going to play something quiet. I know that doesn't make any sense, but follow me on this. You put on loudness or midnight. It used to be called midnight on some devices because, well, midnight makes more sense because when it's midnight and the kids are asleep and you just want to watch a movie, but you don't want to blast it to get all the effects and the bass, you would put on midnight mode or loudness mode. And you could play it quieter and it would bump the treble a little bit and bump the bass a little bit and just so it sounds louder than it actually is. So these are very much, God, that sounds good. These are very much intended for a living room scenario. They've got the fiber optic. You plugged it in from your TV, your smart TV. You stream your shit on your TV, fiber optic into the thing. The only thing that won't do, which other units have done, is it doesn't give you ARC, so you can't control it with your TV remote. You still have to use this thing. Oh my God, Overseer never. I gotta remember to say the names of every song that plays because someone inevitably will be like, "Yes, what was that song you played?" And I'm like, "Timestamp, motherfucker!" And then they'll give me the timestamp, and I'll be like, "I don't remember. I've got 30,000 songs. I can't remember them all." But this one, Overseer Never, I've made it as loud as possible. Up against the wall, motherfucker. Full endorsement. Full fucking endorsement of these speakers. Oh, one of the things I was going to complain about. I mean, let me get to the other complaint out. Like on Canto Tux or Vanitus, with a smart speaker, when you have like a DSP built into it and all this other shit, like on the Canto Tux, the remote control literally has a button that if you hold it down, it swaps the left and right. And that would be useful. If in a scenario where you don't have a plug, like this is the right speaker because it says that's the left speaker. But in a scenario where you're using a digital input where you can't easily swap the channels, like if you're using RCA, you could just plug the left and right backwards, and then you can put this one on the left and have the speaker that's easily connectable with just a single wire on the right. But you don't have that in this. You haven't had that on a lot of recent speakers, and I kind of miss that. Swans don't do it anymore. This doesn't do it. I feel like that was something that people added and it went away, and I would rather have it come back. Because, like, when I looked at it, it was like, all right, right. My source is over there. If that speaker could have been on that side, I would have done it. It would have been shorter cable runs. And maybe it's closer to an outlet instead of running an extension cord. So that's like a little negative, but that's like a lot of speakers nowadays. And I really, when someone puts that feature back in that I can swap left and right, you can bet I'm going to fucking dance about it. But, you know, I think Triangle... I think if Triangle made a self-powered tower, they'd fight the Boo Carts. Even if it was a BR09, which is not an expensive tower. Those things are like, what are they, $1,100 the pair? $1,500 for the pair? Which in terms of towers isn't that much, considering that's $4,000, $2,000, $3,600. Those are relatively affordable towers. These are $7,000. So I think of those with like DSP correction and some remote control and some really like more modern features that they get past just the basics of like making it a Bluetooth receiving thing, I think they could compete highly, heavily, hardly. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even plug the subwoofer in. Wait, this is Batman OST, Jack versus Eckhard. Oh, I got loudness on. I gotta turn loudness off. That shit is crazy. Did it go off? I think it blinked. I don't know. It still sounds amazing. Let's plug the subwoofer in for a second. Oh, I also realized that my subwoofers that I'm about to hook up over there. Oh, God. The Yamo 912s. I never did the review for them. Unfortunately, another thing that's also missing from all these modern speakers is when you plug in the subwoofer, it doesn't remove the low end from the speakers itself. If it did that, that would allow these speakers to play louder, because what really distorts a speaker is trying to play low end. So if it limited it to like 80 hertz and put 80 hertz and below out there, then you really got some shit going on. But right now, it's just going to add a sub, and it's going to probably sound, let me back this song up. Oh, God. Okay, now we're living in the bass, because those are in a perfect measured position over there. The fact that it lets you add a sub is fantastic. The other things that are missing, the ability to swap and the cheap wire and the plastic remote, I don't mind. I don't fucking care. I don't care. They sound too good. They look too good. Any speaker that looks good enough, any speaker that looks as good as it sounds, and then is priced right around where I think it should be, because that's another thing. It's like, if these were $300 speakers, I'd be having a fucking conniption fit on the floor, changing pants constantly. These are expensive speakers. They sound like expensive speakers. And they look like it. Anyway, I'm done. Sound demo available to patrons and subscribers. If you want to see all these types of reviews early, like the patrons have been able to do, feel free to throw $5 at me. That's a month. $5 a month. You spend more on hookers. Well, no, I can't verify you do that. Your mom gives you more of that to spend on hookers. But for that, you get to see reviews early, participate in yard sales. If Triangle decides to leave these here, because a lot of times Triangle will say, hey, you want to keep them, pay for them, and I pay a reduced amount. And then if like they're just sitting around like the fucking 40th anniversaries were, I'll sell them. I don't want to sell them, but I also can't use them constantly, because that would be, one day I'm gonna buy a hotel. Like a big skyscraper hotel, and every room will be a different audio setup with different amps and different DACs and different room materials, and you'll be able to rent a room just to sit in it and be like, Orbital Main Access Corridor. The previous song, in case you're wondering, was Star Wars, The Return of the Jedi, from the Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Metallica, the thing that should not be. There you go. In case you're wondering where that woman's scream is from. I wonder who screamed that. You think they know that's them? Yeah, see reviews early, participate in yard sales, 1st to the 10th of every month. I ship for free US and Canada, half shipping international. Please make your bids non-even. Again, not just this stuff, IEMs for days on that channel, because those I got tons of. And also the sound demos. And then for $10 a month, if you want to ask me questions directly, if you want to ask me about setup, if you want to ask any of the other $10 patrons about setup, for $10 you get into a private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat. They know I've got these speakers. They know everything that shows up. They know everything I'm doing every day. It's like the Truman Show, but you're only paying $10 a month for all my help and all that fucking entertainment. You also get into a lifetime swap meet channel where you can buy, sell, and trade gear with the other members, which that channel's up to like over 340 people who just constantly listing for sale and buy them, and then list other things for sale and then buy them, and list other things for sale and then buy them. So if you want that luxury, that's $10 a month. That would be 2 hookers. Anyway, we got onto hookers again. I'm sorry, Triangle. I don't know what it is about sexy fucking speakers and big titty anime girls, but it just brings it out in me. Oh, definitely can't play that. That's Baka Monogatari or Tuari Monogatari. God, that was a good soundtrack. Anyway, I'm done. Enjoy the stuff. Click the links. Thanks to my sponsor. There's a sponsor link. Thank you to my sponsor. I should have said at the beginning I'm an idiot, but thank you, because that link matters too. Just click it so that people could see that they click it, and then they could sell that link so that I could do more with my life. help.